So you're trying to decide between 4 and 6 year contracts for the military. It's a tough decision, I understand. Stay tuned and find out what I think about that. What's up, guys? You're tuning in to Nikki MGTV for another military video for all your military video needs. As always, you can hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, or down in the comments below if you have questions. But as always, let's roll right into the topic, and that is, should you do a 4 or 6 year contract, and what does that really mean for you? So I'm speaking from a perspective of Navy, so it's gonna be a good generalization for overall service, but I'm just gonna let you guys know this. So as far as the military goes, let's start with the basis. So there are 4 and 6 year contracts, but there are specific jobs that are going to get maybe a 4 year contract versus a 6 year contract. So let's take nukes, for example, in the Navy. A lot of them are going to have very long contracts. Why is that? Because they're in school for so long that the Navy has to get something out of you. So say if they only had a 4 year contract, be out of commission pretty much of deployment and stuff and being ready to transition within a year of finishing your school. It would be pretty insane because it can be pretty extensive. Or just like I'm a corpsman, which is a set 5 year contract. We didn't get a choice to go to 4 year contracts. It was just because the training was long enough that they said, yeah, we should probably get another year out of you guys. They will sometimes has been years since I've heard of this, but some jobs they will offer another year. Maybe, for example, I had a buddy that was a 5 year corpsman that they offered 6, and they're like, yeah, like $1,000 extra. He didn't take it, but I would say be self-aware, because the difference between 4 and 6 year contracts is really dependent on what your final goal is. If you want to stay 20 years and you're kind of a vetting person, you're going to stay the 6 years and go on that whole way. Obviously, you're going to get more quote-unquote training if you are going for the 6 year contract, typically, because you're going to have a more lengthy A school or tech school process. Now, it's tough because you really got to know yourself. Like, are you wanting to use the military as a stepping stone? Because some of those greater contract lengths will give you more experience. You're more trained, you're more valuable when you get out, So if you do get out, you probably can market yourself a little bit better, whereas maybe you're doing a job which doesn't require as much training time, but you get out with a lesser skill, but you're going to get your GI Bill. So I always say this, you don't get any more benefits if you're getting out after your first enlistment, whether it's a 4 or 6 year contract. So if your mindset is, I'm using this only for school and I just want the money for school, and maybe travel and a little experience and the veteran status, that might not be a bad option either. But I just want to market that to you guys, in that you have to make that decision between which poison you're going to pick. I personally signed the 5 year contract at first. I re-enlisted for another 3 when I got orders to row to Spain, and then I re-enlisted at IDC school, Independent Duty Corpsman School, for a bonus, a selective re-enlistment bonus. Again, this kind of is diving into the Navy side of things, but all branches have some variation of bonus for specific jobs. That's all variant. I can't speak too specific on that, but understand that typically when you are after your first enlistment, some of these jobs will offer a bonus that you may say, hey, I might want to take this, and they'll maybe offer more money if you stay longer. So for me to get the full maximized bonus, I had to put 6 years down, which I was already at 8. So I was like, if I do 6, that puts me out to like 14. I might as well stay at that point, and that's how that happened. But again, speaking from the Navy side, that bonus variance can change. So if you re-enlisted for a short amount of time, you got less of a bonus, but if that rating of your bonus goes up or down, you can then re-enlist and take advantage of that upper bonus. Or say it goes down, you could hurt and wish you re-enlisted for longer. So it's really a game, and it's depending on what the military needs. I know a lot of people are picking jobs and things that are that they're worried if it's the right job or this or that, and they're frustrated because they want this specific job. But I think that's an introduction for you guys to understand that the military, or whatever branch you're joining, has wants and demands and needs. Everyone can't just join and say, I want to be a corpsman, because there's a lot of people that want to be a corpsman. And how many people join and say, I want to be a culinary specialist? So there has to be some kind of enticing factor, and they realize that. So it's all about manning and trying to fill positions. You can't apply to any place that's looking for a cashier and say, well, I'm applying, but I only want to be the stocker. But you have a cashier position open. You know, that job only has cashier. It's kind of the same thing. But I hope this video helps you guys out with understanding about the 4 to 6 year contract and what I think you may want to consider if you're considering joining, and the difference between a 4 to 6 year contract. But if you do have questions about the military or the contracts or whatever else, you can always hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.